Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Mid-Atlantic Bowling League's Dungeon Bowl. It's week number 3. After this week will be the halfway point of this competition already. We have a double header tonight. Both games are going to be a lot of fun, but we're starting in Division A tonight. Tonight we're going to see Kind Peacocks versus the Dead Poets, a Kind Sir versus S Beaver, Imperial Nobility versus Undead. Let's take a look at these standings before we take a look at the two teams this evening. Currently in first place and up tonight, S Beaver and the Dead Poets. They're an Undead team. They are 2-0-0 so far in this competition, and they are followed by Eric's, our Grudges with Nuffle, a Dwarf team. 1-1-0 is their record. Tonight, the third place team, Kind Peacocks, looking for their second win in this competition. They're up against that first place team. Over in Division B, Spire's Rodentia takes first place after defeating the Harlequins BBFC earlier in the week. Their escaping team 1-1-0 is their record, and they're followed behind by Nevaguna, an Orc team coached by Chime. 1-1-0 is their record as well. The second matchup we have tonight is going to be Forest of Flames versus the Real American Heroes, the number 3 and the number 4 team respectively in this division. Both of those teams looking for their second win in this competition. And finally, we have Division C in first place. The Chaos Renegades of Street Fighters Turbo Max, coached by Ian. 1-0 is their record, and tied for second place are the Television Terrors, my team, a human team, and Tizark Savage Boys, Tizzle Bizzle's Orc team, also 1-1-0. The home team tonight are going to be the Imps of the Kind Peacocks. They're coming in with a TV of 1,030,000 gold, a full 11-player roster, a new team to the league. That means they're fresh in this competition. They have 1 ogre, the big guy humongous. They have 2 blitzers. They have 4 bodyguards. They have 4 linemen. Pretty standard roster for an imp team. 2 dedicated fans, 2 rerolls. They're going to be up against an undead team tonight. The undead team, by contrast, let me know if that's too loud. I know you say it's not, but it is in my ears. If you say it's not, it's locked in. It's good. I just have to turn down the monitor on it. Anyway, the away team tonight, the Dead Poets, are an undead team. Unlike that imp team that's fresh in the season, the Dead Poets have been playing all season long. They come in a TV of 1,250,000 gold. They have 2 mummies, just 1 of their blitzers, 2 ghoul runners, and a bunch of zombos. 5 dedicated fans, 4 rerolls. How do the 2 teams play tonight? First up, let's take a look at the home team. That is not the Bone Breakers. The Kind Peacocks, here we go. The Kind Peacocks, as an imp team, they are a pitch control team. You can see they have a lot of pitch control skills. They have fend, they have stand firm. They have humongous here as the big guy. That's where a lot of their strength comes from. Big weakness for this team are the fact that they're, in my opinion anyway, they're a pitch control team with not a lot else going for them, right? They can control the pitch. That's great. But then how do you translate that into touchdowns? How do you translate that into preventing touchdowns? That's the tricky part of this team. And that's in no small part to these linemen, right? These linemen are inexpensive. They do have fend, which is fine, but AV 8+ makes them very brittle. This is elven territory, wood elf territory, and it can be really difficult to keep these players on the roster. You can see here Peter has been injured and has lost a point of AG as well, making it very difficult for Peter to do anything relating to the ball. That's fine if you only have 1 player on the roster injured in that way. He'll be on the line. He'll be taking blocks. He'll be eating blocks. But against this undead team, I think the Kind Peacocks are going to have an uphill battle, and I think it's going to come down to the inducements, which we'll talk about in just a second. Just the 2 rerolls, really nothing but the pitch control skills means that this team's going to have to try to force the undead team to go where they don't want to go, to put their players out of position, and then try to capitalize on that in some way. It's just very difficult to capitalize on that, right? If you get, maybe you're on defense, you get the ball carrier to jump out of the cage or move to the side or run down the wide zone. What do? You only have 2 players with the block skill, right? Or maybe you're against a team that's a fast escaping team. You don't have the speed to come up against them. it can be real tricky to play the roster. But Kind Sir has been doing a great job with it so far. This is the first time we're seeing imps in the league. I'm excited to see how they'll play. Undead teams, however, are by no means new to the league. We've seen them time and time again. They're a fantastic race to play in Blood Bowl because they have a fantastic roster. The two mummies here with a strength of 5, you can see that the Dead Poets have leveled them up. They come with Mighty Blow. They have guard and block. Standard mummy selections there. That makes these guys very, very scary on the line. Just one of the white blitzers. Morrison's out with an injury this week, so it only has one of the blitzers. Also dropped 2 of the 4 ghoul runners. That means that the Dead Poets, again, in my opinion, had a couple of ways they could come up against this match. They're up against a pitch control team. How do you counter that? Well, you can play sort of the edge game, the speed game, or maybe you play the bash game. Losing those 2 ghoul runners means being down to 2. He can't really threaten with the ghoul runners anymore. He can't, he can't harass with a ghoul runner. He can't move a ghoul runner down pitch. He can't foul with the ghoul runner. He has just the 2, and those are his fastest players, and they don't have regen, so he's probably going to want to keep them safe. Now they're both blodgers, so it makes them a little more tough of a nut to crack. But we will probably see him hold the ghoul runners in reserve, which means that's not going to be his strategy. That weakens his strategy in that regard. These pieces are not weak tactically, however. Again, move at 7, blodgers, really, really good pieces. The zombie lineman, he has 2 that have block. That's great. They're very slow at the MA of 4, but with all the block on this roster compared to the imp team, and those Mighty Blow mummies, I think he's going to play the bash game. I think he's going to come into this game, try to get player advantage, especially against those very brittle linemen, those AV8+ linemen, try to get them off the pitch ASAP, get that player advantage, and now he can start playing a little bit more of the game that he wants to play. I think he's going to play the bashy game tonight. We'll see how that pans out. He is giving up 220,000 gold in petty cash. That's not enough for Griff, but that is enough for Grumbendal, the White Dwarf himself. We'll see if a Kind Sir picks up Grumbendal. If not, it's going to be a Fireball. I think the White Dwarf is a great star player. If he doesn't select White Dwarf, I think a Fireball is always a good bet. A Fireball, great pairing with a pitch control team. A Fireball controls the pitch, right? You have a Fireball on deck, it can be very difficult, or rather your opponent really needs to be careful. They don't want to cage up and give you 5 players to Fireball. They don't want to throw a guy out by his lonesome and have him zapped either. So we'll see what a Kind Sir picks up in the inducement phase. 4 rerolls. The Dead Poets got rid of all their staff. No cheerleaders, no assistant coaches. I think that's totally fine. But yeah, we'll see how this game, this matchup plays out. I think on paper this is favorable to the Undead, but never count out coach skill, coach experience. There's a lot of agency in this game, and better coaches can perform even with weaker teams. Run that old gamer Mike. Welcome to the stream. Bad Dog, welcome to the stream. Doug the Minotaur, of course. A Kind Sir. Boot Polish. There's a lot of agency, and there's Nuffle, indeed. Week 3 underway. After this week, both of these coaches, or both these teams, will be halfway through the competition. The division division winners, I should say, of each of the 3 divisions will advance to the top 4 cut, as will the highest runner-up between the 3 divisions. Clive is welcome to the stream. Here we go. Lots of money. 6 fan factor for the Dead Poets. There it is, 220K. The White Dwarf himself is an option for the Kind Peacocks. We'll see if he picks him. We'll see if he goes with maybe a Fireball instead. He's going to go with the Mighty Zug. Fair enough. Picks up Mighty Zug. He's ready. Look at that, man. He's just like, let's go. Let's go. Here's coin toss. Dead Poets win the toss. They might go on off. Well, they might go on defense. We'll see. No, they'll go on offense. Fair enough. Unlike a more fragile team like a Wood Elf team that really wants to start on defense, an Undead team has their choice, right? They can start on offense, try to set the momentum, or they can start on defense, try to win this maybe 2-1. Anchor defense for the Kind Peacocks to start this game. You can see the mighty Zug all the way back at the end of the anchor here in the secondary. Offset line for this defense. They're shifted. They're pulled to the right here. The Dead Poets now to set up their offense. Naturally, the two mummies on the line for the offense here with that strength of 5 and guard. Johnson here is effectively a strength 5 piece as well. Just the 2 ghoul runners on the roster. The Dead Poets dropping 2 of their 4 ghoul runners for this matchup. Nurgle's Rot cheering for the defense. Welcome to the stream. BB Nut, welcome to the stream. Thanks for hanging out. Sharing some Blood Bowl this evening. One of the best games ever made, in my opinion. Here's the setup. So the 2 ghoul receivers, Joplin, or ghoul runners, Joplin and Thane back to receive. Here's the kick. More like a throw, really. Brilliant coaching. Yeah, dropped the assistant coach for the game, still earns the extra reroll. The Dead Poets up to an incredible 5 rerolls for the half. Turn 1. Ball kicked to the 24-yard line over the right wide zone. Did I block to get things started? It's going to be a knockdown on Peter. Injured lineman, AV of 8+ breaks armor, but couldn't get it. 7+ with mighty blow. Did I block by Lennon? Gets a knockdown thanks to the block skill, but again, no armor break. Final block on the line will be a knockdown thanks to the block skill, and this will be an armor break. Blood right in the camera. 1 KO to start the game. Well done. 1-man player advantage for the Dead Poets. Taking the mark on Anthony Weiner. the rookie bodyguard. Here we go. 2-9 blitz. Gonna wrestle the bodyguard to the ground. Doug the Minotaur says these mummies need to go somewhere before the Blood Bowl. I don't think S. Beaver's in the Blood Bowl yet, though, right? Maybe he is. Let me see. Fails the ball pickup. Succeeds on the free reroll with sure hands. Gets the ball up to the 20-yard line. Doug the Minotaur says this is his season. There's how the Blood Bowl bracket is shaping up so far. The White Skull Windbreakers in the upper bracket, as are Cenozoic Park as the Chaos Cup and Spike Magazine trophy champions, respectively. And in the lower bracket are Nevagunna and the Real American Heroes, Orcs and Dark Elves. It's on the bonus clock here in turn 1. 10 seconds down, and now the Kind Peacocks with their first turn of the game. Poo Polish said I'm not excited to play them. They're rough, man. They're pretty good pieces. Two-9 blitz to get things started on Laura Dern, the second, formerly of Cenozoic Park. Breaks armor. Mighty Zug gets a stun to start the game. Showing off why he's a star player. Tuck the Minute says, oh no, I have to play this again. Well, the bracket gets randomly seeded. It's just my code doesn't... I don't have anything in the graphic depicting that. I don't know how to really represent who's in the bracket, but with a random seed. So who knows? Maybe you don't play them again, and maybe they lose in round 1. Turn 2 for the Dead Poets. Or, you know, maybe the random seeding results in you playing them round 1. Dude, I blitz on Peter, the injured lineman. No armor break. I think that's right. Do I not have tackle in the database? I'll have to look into it after the games. Blame the Fs. Ball advances to the 6. Fame, the number 8 ghoul runner with a broken arm, is going to move into the left, to the left of the ball carrier here to offer some protection. Fails a dodge by the lone blitzer, and he'll be stunned. Turn 2, back to the Kind Peacocks now. Kind Peacocks getting around this offensive line on the right side. Marking Jones from behind. Here's the blitz. 3-die blitz with the mighty Zug. Gets a pal. 8+ will break armor. No armor break. Good positioning here to get that 3-die block. You always want to try to maximize your dice. Well, maximize your block dice. Maybe not maximize the number of die rolls you do for edge rolls. That'll be it. Turn 3 now for the Dead Poets. A Kind Sir using this pitch control team to keep the formation in check and try to, indeed, control the pitch. Old Gamer Mike says Zug is undercosted. Zug's good. Zug's good. Has Blood Bowl 3 implemented the star player like abilities yet? Like the once per turn, once per game abilities? Takes a mark on the big guy, Humongous, the number 1 ogre, the middle linebacker. Because both Griff for sure, and the White Dwarf have some cool special abilities. Carlavon kill with the sabbity stab. Job from the ball carrier. Number 7 ghoul runner is going to cross the line of scrimmage. And now a blitz with Lennon. Gets a pow on the ogre, Humongous. 9+ breaks armor. Normal break naturally. Good use of these mummies, keeping them on the front of the cage. Like he says, I really want to see how Imperial Nobility can do, but I don't think they will be as good as Brett. Yeah, I haven't seen them played a lot. But so far, my impression is they aren't as good as Brett. Turn 3 for the Kind Peacocks. They're going to stand Humongous right back up. 2-die block on the right side of the line gets a pal. Apply some pressure to the right and forward of this tight 4-point cage. 2-die block on Lara during the second over in the right wide zone will be a knockdown. Mighty Zug makes that an 8+, but no armor break. And now the blitz in the back right corner of the cage. This is going to be a push result. He'll push in and follow up. Now marking the ball carrier. Going in for the 2-die in the left wide zone. Gets a pal. Great action order by a Kind Sir so far. See, went in for the assist, repositioned Richard Long first before rolling dice over in the left wide zone. Fails a dodge by Private, the number 6 bodyguard. That'll be a turnover. Yeah, 4 blitzers was key. Standing up players over the right wide zone. 2-die block at mid-pitch against Anthony Weiner will be a POW. Anthony Weiner with the fend skill means that he does not have to be pushed back a space. A Kind Sir can elect to keep him in place, and he does just that. BBNet says the nobility thrower is hot garbage. The bodyguards are nice but too expensive compared to the Brett version. The 2 missing blitzers and Ash are not worth it. In addition, are not worth the addition of the ogre. Yeah, I think losing those 2 blitzers is a big loss. 42 seconds left. I'm not sure what that reaction is. Is that flexing? What was that? Flavius, thank you very much for the bits. That reaction means rats. Yeah, I imagine I know what's coming next. Turn 4 now for the Kind Peacocks. Final turn of the first quarter. Cage did not move the prior turn. Old Gamer Mike, cheer for the undead. Thank you very much for the bits. Then I block his pal with the Mighty Zug. Gets a stun. Mighty Zug over on the right side of the pitch. Currently marked by the blitzer, Cobain. Probably will take a shot on Lennon. Let's save that for the end of the turn. Repositioning players to get in front of the cage. Effective formation so far by the nobility. There's that block. Gets a knockdown on Lennon. 9+ will break armor. Follows up once again, marking the ball carrier. This time on the front right corner of the cage, and this time with a strength 5 player. I don't know why tackle didn't work. I just looked in the database. I have tackle. Let me see. Huh. I don't know why it didn't work the first time. Turn 5 now for the Dead Poets. Second quarter begins. It should be case insensitive. Like, here, I'll try it lowercase. Oh boy, that doesn't work. Oh, you know what? There's a timeout because you can't do it too quickly. I'll try again in a few minutes. If it doesn't work lowercase, that's shame on me. That is my error. Dead Poets trying to get away from this imp defense, but the pitch control skills coming into work. Stands up Lennon. Fails the rush, spends one of the 1,000 rerolls he has. Breaks armor on the ogre. Huge armor break here. Gets a stun. What is he doing? As Peter responds with the one arm push up. Gets a knockdown on Anthony Weiner back at mid pitch. Coming up after this game, we have Wood Elves versus Dark Elves. That's scheduled for 9:30 Eastern Daylight Time. It's UTC -4. That's about 40 minutes from now, depending on how this game is going. If this game is still going, we'll switch over to the other one, or we'll finish out this game before switching over to the other one. 2-die block on the Mighty Zug. Only gets a push. You can't knock down the Zug. He has his name on a medallion around his neck. What makes you think you can push him down? Turn 5 down for the Kind Peacocks. Resets the cage, but the Kind Peacocks keeping the pressure on. Big loss out of that ogre for a turn. Gets a 2-die block on Jones on the right side of the cage. Wrestles to the ground. But he's like blitz over in the right wide zone. Gets a pal. 8+ will break armor here. There it is. Good armor break gets a stun. And will reposition Zug. Zug only with an MA of 4. Skips leg days. 2-die block over in the left wide zone. This will be a knockdown by the blitzer, Richard Long, but no armor break. Uphill block by Wang Chung. Gets a push out of this on Lennon. Chain push to see if he gets pushed out of the cage or pushed into the cage. He's going to push into the cage. This is going to push the ball carrier over to the left. Turn 6 now for the Dead Poets. Standing up players first. 3 turns to get on the board here. Running out of time a little bit. Has players that are fast enough for sure in the 2 ghoul runners. With just the 2 ghoul runners, he'll need to open up a lane and play it a little more traditionally, where he'll have to escape, open up a hole, get through, and then cover the ball carrier for a turn, which means he'll need to hustle a little bit here, as he has to end next turn in scoring position. Trying to open up the hole dead center of the cage. Still has the blitz on the table. Ball carrier still marked by Johnson, the rookie bodyguard. Blitzing with the ball carrier. 2-die blitz. Gets a push. That'll be enough. He will not follow up. And it looks like he might try to take off here. But if he does, who's going to cover? He's going to give up on it. Stand firm, saying he's going to give up on it. Boot Polish says, I don't think I fully appreciate Stand Firm. Clyphia says, is there anywhere the ball carrier can go safely? Stand Firm is great. And no, I don't think there's anywhere he can go safely. But now he's in real trouble because I don't know how he's going to set up the next turn to score. Yeah, Stand Firm is a great skill. On Necro teams, those 2 flesh golems, sure, they're strength 4, but I think Stand Firm is really what makes them shine. Stand Firm is a control skill where not only can you just keep them in place, exerting tackle zones right where you want them to be, but it's also like an anchor point. So like with this anchor player, you can set up a new formation. You can kind of maybe swing around that player to the left or swing around that player to the right. And it makes it very valuable, in my opinion. Two-die block back at the line of scrimmage. Gets a knockdown. You can kind of do that with strength 5 as well, depending on the matchup, just because it's so hard to get enough dice on a strength 5 player that often they'll be left alone. Marty Zog on the blitz gets the knockout on Hendricks the second. And now Wang Chung in front of the would-be cage. This offense stopped dead in its tracks. The ball's only gotten to the opposing 4-yard line this half. Clyphus asks, where can that ghoul go next turn? With Nuffle, anything's possible. 2-die block on the mummy. Got a skull. Rerolled this into a push. Little Dicky on the block. And now a 2-die on the ball carrier. Rerolls this into a skull. No rerolls left for the Imp team. 3 for the Dead Poets. Turn 7 now. S. Beaver going off with the picture-in-picture. I think maybe he's just figuring out it's a button and playing around with it. Ball's going to shift over to the left sideline. All right, committing to this left sideline, now on the 12. With no rerolls left for the Nobility team, the Dead Poets are hoping for a failed die roll. Two die block double skulls on number 6. We'll re-roll this for sure. And took the both down results, so they wrestled to the ground. This frees up Harrison the Mummy. 30 seconds left on the clock here for the Dead Poets. Harrison's gonna blitz. Two die blitz. Gets a push on Wang Chung. He's gonna re-roll this. He wants the knockdown. He got it. Then takes a mark on Little Dicky. So now Kind Peacocks on turn 7. Spent 2 of their rerolls in the last turn on uphill blocks. With no rerolls left, what's the game plan on defense? Can't negate the assist by Harrison. He's a guard player. Yeah, and with that wrestle skill, there's only the Twitch API only allows you to write so many characters in a message. But what's not mentioned there by MAML bot is they get placed prone and there's no armor break and there's no turnover. Polish asks, what's the MA of the ogre? It's 4. It's 4. I'm sorry, it's 5. Good KO by Mighty Zug here. Mighty Zug is the one who's 4. All right, marking Thane decided he didn't want to rush on to Joplin. What's the plan? Is it going to be a dodge blitz by Little Dicky? Two rushes by Wang Chung. Going for the surf on Little Dicky, I think. Fails the dodge. He was going to try to surf the ball carrier, but failed the dodge. Good setup, it just didn't have the rerolls. Turn 8 for the Dead Poets. They must score right here. Currently in scoring position, if they move forward every space, they will not have to rush. Buffy says that Mummy KO could hurt him if it doesn't come back. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. Dead Poets and S. Beaver taking their time on this turn, trying to figure out how to score. They have 1 reroll left of 5, I might add. 1 reroll left on Wang Chung's going to be a push by Thane. Now blitz with the ball carrier. 1 die blitz, a skull. He'll have to re-roll this die. It's a push. He was looking for more out of this. He'll stay put. He'll move right here and then try the 3+ dodge. 3+ dodge coming up. Doug, the minutes. There is the good dodge. Well done. A rush will do it. He got it. 1-0. Well done by the Dead Poets. Doug the Minotaur, thank you so very much for the gifted sub. I appreciate it. Clivey says, doesn't he have to do a rush now? He does, yes. When you blitz, the block that you take counts as a point of MA. You need a point of MA to do it. Once again, Doug Vintar, thank you so much for the bits. Old Gamer Mike, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it. The gift sub. And Old Gamer Mike, thank you very much for the bits. I appreciate it. So the Mummy not coming back onto the pitch this turn, but that's fine. I'll get another roll of the die here. It's effectively made that a 75% chance of coming back for the second half. We'll see if it does. One turn left in this half for a kind sir, unless there's a timeout. It'll be 11v10 on the pitch. Three on the line. Everybody else covering or screening out the end zone. 7 on the line for Kind Peacocks. 8 now on the line with Lil Dicky back to receive. Lil Dicky going up to the line. Wow. 10 on the line now. Woody. Kai Peacocks, they forget about the ball. All 11 players on the line. There we go. Woody's going to be pulled off the line to receive just in case there's a timeout. Ten players on the line without a back, like a halfback. Could be difficult to get this ball up to the line in case there is a timeout. You can always pass, of course, but you don't want to, you don't have to. Here's the kick. Deep kick. Boy, oh boy. This is a rainy game now. 3-die block on the line. It's going to be a knockdown by Mighty Zug. Wow. And an injury. That's a guaranteed removal to be 11v10 at least at the start of the half. So you can see here it's a -1 on all the pick-up-y stuff. Catch, pickup, or pass interference is a -1 now. Another armor break on the line. This time a stem. Now 3 dice with Humongous. Looking for an 8+ here. Doesn't get it. Someone should have checked the forecast. Going for the foul now. 5 assists on Hendricks II. That's a 4+ armor break. 3+ armor break. 2+ armor break. This is a guaranteed armor break. Here we go. Yes, sir. Of course the ref couldn't see it. There's a whole gaggle of players around. Who can see that? Great removal by Kind Peacocks. They're going to fail to pick up here to end the half. Kind Peacocks will now be on offense to start the second half of this game, and there's that Mummy coming back onto the pitch. So a 2-man player advantage going to the Kind Peacocks. Dead Poets in a little bit of predicament now. They're down 2 players. Still have a lot of very skilled players, which is great. It's always a tough call as coach, right? Like, the Dead Poets have a significant TV advantage, which means that the Kind Peacocks will be picking up a significant amount of petty cash, which we can see it was spent on the Mighty Zug. Boy, I don't know. Man, I would have kept the ghouls, and I might have even hired a second blitzer. But that does give away a lot of money. It's a tricky call. Now being down 2 players, we'll see how he pivots his strategy. We'll see what the strategy is going to be. I'm not sure what it's going to be. Being down 2 players, he's got to watch out. He's got to cover the entire width of the pitch. He only has the 2 ghouls, so he doesn't have a whole lot of speed to cover that easily and to harass a cage or harass the run. And being down 2 players, it makes playing the straight up bashing game a little difficult, I think, too. See these sides. It sets up 3 columns behind the 3-man tight defensive line. And now the Kind Peacocks set up their offense once again. I'm just in awe. I really love the rain effect. It's just pretty. It looks great. 6 on the line here for the Kind Peacocks. Mighty Zug, that left end. Humongous, the big guy in the center. Here's the kick. It's a high kick, a free opportunity to grab this ball by the Kind Peacocks. Lil Dicky. Boy, showing what he can do on the catch. 5+ catch. And it works out. And now Lil Dicky. First time in pro leagues. Good injury here. Another player down. 3-man player advantage for the Kind Peacocks. Nurgles Rot rooting for this offense. Coming up in about 21 minutes, we're going to have our second game of the doubleheader. That will be Wood Elves versus Dark Elves. That's Force of Flame versus Real American Heroes. Two-die blitz by the Mighty Zug. Gets a pal on Lennon. 9+ breaks armor. No armor break on the drop kick. Two-die block on Lara during the second will be wrestled to the ground. Repositions team. Going in on the foul once more. 4 assists, was that? Finally gets called on this. Gets a stun. He'll argue the call. That's Beaver just dancing. The ref says, no, thank you. Get off my pitch. Now down to a 2-man player advantage. Gets a stun on the foul, however. JD Whitey, welcome to the stream. Oh, hey, that's me, Force of Flame, indeed. It's JD Whitey versus Dead Fred. I'm excited for that. I like watching elf matches. I like watching anything, really. But elf matches are really cool. They're very dynamic. Dead Poets on defense. They're down 3 players. Trying to figure out how they can stop this offense. They're going to start with a Ghoul Blitz. 2-die blitz. They'll get a knockout on Anthony Weiner. Got a KO. Well done. Down to a 1-man player advantage now for the Kind Peacocks. That Fever's going crazy with fails the rush, though. Fails the rush. Spent a reroll as well and failed it a second time. Took a blitz, tried to rush away. Spent the reroll, failed again, rolled snake eyes, and now turn 10 for the kind Peacocks. Humongous repositions toward the right. Takes a mark on Alexander. Blitz on Lennon. Gets a push out of this. Advances the ball up to their own 4-yard line. Little Dicky, the ball carrier, the rookie blitzer. Imperial Nobility blitzers have block and catch. MA7's pretty speedy. AG3, they can also pass with PA4 plus. Another foul, gets a KO this time. Well done. Kind Peacocks being none too kind in this matchup. Back up to a 2-man player advantage. I think that's the right call. Taking these fouls, getting these removals. This defense is really going to be ineffective with so few players, unless S. Beaver can maybe pivot somehow. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how you pivot with this. He's just going to have to stay in front of that ball, not let the ball get behind him. I think he's going to have to wait for the offense to make a mistake. Two-dot block on Humongous. Gets a pal here. 9+ breaks armor, but no armor break. Feffy says, are there going to be any players left at the end of the game? I hope not. 50 seconds left in turn 10 for the Dead Poets. 3 rerolls for the game. They've spent their blitz. Have to be very, very careful with just 7 players left on the pitch. El New Marino, welcome to the stream. El New Marino says the ogres look ridiculous with the feathers on their headbands. Turn 11 now for the kind Peacocks. They're going to stand Humongous right back up. Two-die block on Larder in the second. Gets a knockdown here. Another armor break, another injury. Holy smokes. Down to 6 players on the pitch for the Dead Poets. Old Gamer Mike says, I wonder if S. Beaver's regretting not having a bench. Maybe so. Kind Peacocks now carving out that left wide zone. They've been working out. That's what they've been doing. Ball's going to advance to the opposing 8. Mighty Zug on the blitz now. Rush blitz, 3-die blitz. Gets a pound Cobain. Can he get an 8+ to break armor? He can indeed. Gets a stun. Excellent stun following the removal. Dead Poets on turn 11 now. Minute 30 on the clock. Dead Poets trying to figure out how to stop this offense. They're going to send Fane, the number 8 ghoul runner, over to the left. The safety on the pitch. He has 6 players, but yeah, 5 to move. The White Blitz are stunned. Both Ghoul Runners setting up as safeties. Just trying to stay in front of the ball. I think it's a nice touch how when it started raining, the sky actually got darker too. I think that's great. 2-die blitz by Lennon on Willie, the rookie lineman. Gets a push, spends a re-roll, gets the knockdown here. Dead Poets down to 2 re-rolls for the game. Uphill block on Humongous will be a push. Turn 12 for the Kind Peacocks. They had a great defense in the first half, but the Dead Poets were able to break through it and score after a turn of burning through rerolls by the Kind Peacocks. Here on offense, they're having a great half as well. This time, I mean, to be frank, they're playing the pitch control team and they're controlling the pitch. They're playing the game that they want to play and they're succeeding at it. Question will be, is this a game for a draw or a game for a win? If he tries to play for the win, the Dead Poets are definitely getting back 2 players and maybe get back a 3rd. 2-die block on Lennon will be wrestled to the ground. And we've got 3 assists on a potential foul. Two-die blitz. Alexander's going to be wrestled to the ground here. Well, now the ball carrier needs to probably shifts to the right here. He sucked. Comes into the right side of the mummy. Kind Peacocks just taking out the rest of this defense here, just marking everyone, enclosing them, encircling them. And now it's really only the Ghoul Runners who are free to do anything. And yes, indeed, the ball's going to move over to the right. And now here comes the foul. 100 assists on this foul. Got a KO. And the ref caught that one. We'll try to argue the call, but the ref said, no, sir, get out of here. Pretty decent trade, I'd say. So long as there's not a new drive. Got the KO on the foul. Five players left on the pitch for the Dead Poets. A kind sir tried to table this team. One die block is a skull. He'll use a team reroll. He's down to 1 reroll for the game. So this is important as well. If the Dead Poets go down to no rerolls, Kind Peacocks might actually try for the win. Push on the block. Will Dickey pushed off to the right. Turn 13. 4th and final quarter begins. The Kind Peacocks with the ball on the opposing 8-yard line. Oh man. Oh man. Oh boy. 4 players left on the pitch for the Dead Poets. 3 players left on the pitch for the Dead Poets. Oh, man. That's very true. JD Whitey says the Nobles are doing some punishing, but in classic fashion, will still only draw the game. That's very true. Could we see our first tabling in the league? S Beaver, I don't mean to root against you, but I really want to see it. Here's a foul. Let's go! Let's go! Got a stun. Did not get called off. Squiggy McSquig, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. BB Nut says, I think you risked the score here. Yeah, so he could try to just win this game outright. There it is. Well done. 1-1. We'll see what happens for the Dead Poets. They get back 2 of their KOs, so they're going to be up. They're going to be down 3 players to start this perhaps final drive. The Kind Peacocks deciding to play this game for the win. BB Nut says it's so hard to make the playoffs. I think you have to go for it. I think that is the right strategy. I think that's the right mindset to have. In the game of Blood Bowl, you have to think about the game, of course, but you also have to think about, in league play, you have to think about the competition, you have to think about the season. Yeah, I think it's going to be 10v8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2-man player advantage for the Kind Peacocks on defense. They're going to have to get aggressive and try to get this ball back. Kind Peacocks want to win this game. Then they pull it out. Spreading the defensive line wide. Now the Dead Poets to set up their offense. 8 players on the pitch for the Dead Poets. Just the 2 Ghoul Runners. The 2 Mummies and Johnson will be on the line. They're shifted to the right. So now, if the Dead Poets are going to win this game, they've got to rely on the speed of the Ghoul Runners. But the only players who can back them up, who can set up a pocket for them, are these zombie linemen with an MA of 4. So we'll see what happens here. Onside kick. Both sides get a bribe. This will be a touchback. It'll go in the hands of one of the Ghoul Runners. It's going to be Joplin. 22 SPP. I have to imagine if Joplin survives, that is SPP that's being saved up for a characteristic. Turn 13 for the Dead Poets. 4 turns to try to win this game. 2 die block on Humongous gets a POW. 9+ breaks armor. BB Nut said, yeah, I think scoring was right there. You want it to be 10v7, but kicking into the ring, you might as well do it. Double POWs by Lennon on the right defensive end. 7+ is what he needs. He got it. Gets a stun. We often talk about the players, we talk about tactics and strategy, but something we don't often talk about is just sort of mindset. You know, you're in this game, you're in the lead 1-0, you almost get tabled, and then your opponent says, you know what, I'm not satisfied with the draw, I'm going to play for the win. You've really got to keep your focus together, you got to keep your head on straight and not tilt, because if you tilt, One mistake can lose you the game. Joplin, the ball carrier, moves up to the 6. Blitz on the left defensive end. Gets a foul on Wang Chung. If the Dead Poets are going to run this ball, they're looking at Dwarven speed to do it and just a quarter to make it happen. Turn 14 now for the Kind Peacocks. Take a mark on Alexander on the left side of the line. Humongous is going to move forward, stand up, and Mark Harrison, the mummy, takes a mark on Johnson and Alexander with. I'm sorry, takes a mark. Wow, I'm not sorry. They're both named Johnson. they're just exchanging business cards. Mighty Zug on the 2-die blitz gets a foul on Harrison. Taking that mummy out of the drive potentially. Old Gamer Mike says the ogre has yet to fail a boneheaded. He's been studying. He's been hitting the books. He understands, you know, where he's at, what he has to do. .52 seconds left in the turn. 3 turns to go. The Kind Peacocks continuing to stay in front of this offense. The offense has 1 reroll left. It's going to have to make some big moves if they want to win. Both teams really need to make something happen if they want to win. Beaver considering his options here carefully. Neither team really dipping into that bonus clock too much. 2-die block of Mighty Zug is going to be a foul by Lennon. Mighty Zug has been invaluable for the Kind Peacocks this game. Two-die block over in the left wide zone will be a push on Wang Chung. Seconds to go on the clock. 2-die block against Johnson. The other Johnson. Johnson and Johnson. gets a knockdown. But not the brand of toiletries and soap and stuff. Johnson and Johnson, the buddy cop drama. One's a zombie, one's a bodyguard. They couldn't be more different. But when crime comes to town, they band together. Dead Poets really not risking much here. Which is fine, totally understandable. It doesn't want to lose the ball, but it's not going to win the game this way either. We'll see if Kind Peacocks go in on this ball at all and put somebody in scoring position if they want to win. Neither team eager to make too many commitments. There's the scoring threat. Richard Long, the number 3 blitzer, is going to move down the right wide zone. Two-die block on the line. Mighty Zug against the number 11. Lineman Johnson gets a push. Took the blitz here. Blitz is spent. Lil Dickey's going to move back into the safety position just in case. Anthony Weiner takes a mark on the left side of the pocket. Giant Peacocks repositioning players after the push blitz. "20 seconds left on the clock. Looks like no risks to be taken. The Dead Poets now on turn 15. Kind Peacocks have a player in scoring position. Can the Dead Poets do the same? I built a new computer recently, and one of the last things I did was enable Expo on the RAM. So if you're unfamiliar, like RAM, when you buy memory, it'll often be rated at a certain speed that's only achievable via overclocking, technically, I suppose. But RAM is, I mean, you're fiddling with basically as to the metal as it gets, right? So there's lots of timings involved with how RAM operates, like timing of signals. And so you can certainly do that yourself, but boy, that's a giant pain. So what manufacturers have done is they create these timing profiles that you can just, in your BIOS, you can just set the profile to quote unquote overlock it or overclock it. Intel's is called XMP, and AMD's is called Expo. So anyway, one of the last things I did was enable the Expo profile for the RAM, and I forgot that my BIOS like validates the RAM beforehand, and I have a lot of RAM in there, so it takes minutes. It takes minutes before it finishes posting, just that one time when it's validating. And so I instantly thought I ruined everything because it wasn't posting instantly. And I was like, oh, I just destroyed everything. I hate computers. I just want to become a farmer. But no, I just gave it a few minutes and it worked, but it was very scary. It was that moment where you've done a whole lot of work and you're like, oh, I just threw it all away. Oh, but thankfully not. Two-die block. It's a good stun here. Johnson will be out effectively for the rest of the game. Hasn't been able to open up a hole. The Dead Poets now probably looking for the draw at this point. Oh, fails the rush. He's going to play for the win. He's going to mark the number 6 bodyguard. So he's going to move down the left. Wide zone. 2 rushes. Joplin, the ball carrier. 1 rush away from winning this game. We'll see if it can happen. The Dead Poets with no rerolls left for the game. Two-die block on the Mighty Zug. Gets a pal here. Taking marks. 2 rerolls for the Kind Peacocks. This is their final turn of the game. Can they score to win this game? The blitz has to be taken on Joplin, but then somebody also has to be there to get this ball into the hands of Richard Long. Kind Peacocks and a Kind Sir at the end of at the beginning of this half showed no fear and said, I'm going to try to win this game. S. Beaver responding with Me Too. He's going to try to win this game as well. 2-die blitz. This is going to be a dodge push. He spends the reroll. He's looking for a pal. He did not get it. That's going to be a both standing result by Joplin. He's going to try to make that as hard as possible to dodge through. The Kind Peacocks will not win this game. Boneheaded by Humongous. And now it's just about stopping the Dead Poets. We talked about having the mindset. S. Beaver kept it cool, played it cool. Took a swing at the last moment. We'll see if it works out. The Dead Poets cannot lose this game. But they might be able to win it. Failed rush by the Kind Peacocks. Final turn of this game. Can the Dead Poets pull out a win after being so close to being tabled in the first half? Two-die block on the line against Anthony Weiner. It's going to be a push. Both standing results. Or, I'm sorry, stand firm. It's going to keep the player where he is. Just trying to free up Johnson. No rerolls remaining. Coming up right after this game, we have Wood Elves versus Dark Elves. I'm very excited for it. It's a knockdown on Anthony Weiner. So that's a 50-50 dodge by Alexander. Nope. Nope. Thane comes in on the assist on Wang Chung. Negating the assist by Wang Chung, rather. Two-die blitz on Wang Chung, pushes him away. He's going to dodge to the sideline. We'll see what happens. Why is he red? Oh, did he declare it on Little Dicky? He did declare it on Little Dicky. Somehow stays alive here on the push result. Should have gone to the sideline, but still has an opportunity. It's a -1 dodge, so a 50-50 dodge. Fails the dodge. That is the game. This one ends in a draw, 1-1. My goodness. Holy smokes. Declared the blitz on the wrong player, I think, and ended up failing the dodge, but still pulled out a draw at the end of this game. Very well played by both coaches. That was a ton of fun to watch. Oh, I had an absolute blast with that game. It was so good. Oh, and the Dead Poets with that draw, they're going to remain in first place. They are 2-1-0. They are undefeated at the halfway point of their regulation play. Kind Peacocks, they are 1-1-1 in third place. Still very much not out of this. Remember, it's the top team from each division, including the best second place team. Those are the 4 teams that will make the cut to the top 4. Whew, boy. All right, let's